Hi, I'm Alan,
And I'm Mariama.
and we're the Resilient Group 14, and today we're here to talk about water pollution and community health, and specifically how contaminated water threatens the long-term sustainability of communities. Just as importantly, we'll also look at how equitable, community-based water systems and effective governance can prevent future crises and help communities not just survive, but actually thrive. We want to start with the core issue. Water pollution creates a cascade of problems that directly undermine sustainable communities. A lot of this contamination comes from aging infrastructure, industrial runoff, and weak or inconsistent regulation. When pipes corrode, when factories discharge untreated waste, or when oversight fails, the result is the same. Communities end up with unsafe drinking water. And this burden isn't just shared equally, it disproportionately affects low-income neighborhoods and communities of color who often have the least political power to demand repairs, accountability, or investment. The impact shows up in several ways. On the health side, residents face risks like lead poisoning, waterborne diseases, and long-term developmental issues, especially for children. These aren't just short-term problems, they shape lifelong health outcomes. Economically, families spend more on bottled water, on medical care, and even on things like missing work or school. And at the community level, cities face huge costs for late-stage infrastructure repair that could have been prevented with earlier intervention. Socially, contaminated water erodes trust in local government, in public systems, and in the idea that institutions are supposed to protect people. When that trust breaks down, it weakens the community resilience and makes it harder for residents to work together towards sustainability. And finally, there are ecological impacts. Polluted water harms entire ecosystems. It can destroy habitats, stress or kill fish and wildlife, disrupt nutrient cycles, and degrade wetlands and rivers that normally help filter clean water naturally. When ecosystems become destabilized, communities lose the environmental services that make long-term sustainability possible. So overall, water pollution isn't just a technical or environmental problem. It's a community health issue, an equity issue, and a sustainability issue all at once.
To understand why water pollution is such a serious community health issue, we can look at one of the most well-known examples, the Flint, Michigan water crisis. In 2014, the city switched its water source to the Flint River in an effort to cut costs. But the water wasn't treated with the proper corrosion controls. That mistake caused lead from the city's old pipes to leach into the drinking water. Residents immediately noticed changes. The water was brown, it smelled bad, and people were developing rashes, but their concerns were dismissed for months. By the time the crisis was finally acknowledged, thousands of children had been exposed to lead, and the community faced long-term health, economic, and social consequences. The crisis also revealed something deeper: how political decisions, neglect, and environmental injustice combine to make some communities far more vulnerable than others. Flint isn't just a story about contaminated water. It's a story about governance, inequality, and the consequences of ignoring community voices. Two other examples show how long-standing this issue really is. First, the 1969 Cuyahoga River fire in Ohio. The river was so polluted with industrial waste and oil that it actually caught fire, not for the first time, but the time that finally gained national attention. That event helped spark the modern environmental movement and led to major policies like the Clean Water Act. Another recent case is the Walkerton, Ontario E. coli outbreak in 2000. Contaminated well water, combined with failed oversight, caused 7 deaths and made thousands of residents sick. It showed how even small towns can face devastating consequences when water systems aren't properly monitored. These examples are one of the clearest illustrations of negative externalities and remind us that water safety failures aren't isolated accidents. They're preventable and they reveal what happens when regulation, maintenance, and accountability breaks down.
The bottom line is that clean water is a basic pillar of sustainable communities, which simply can't survive or thrive if its most essential resource is unsafe. So, is there a solution? As with most complex issues, any potential solution will require a systems thinking approach that relies on cooperative partnerships between the sectors. With that understanding, we propose the Community Water Resilience and Accountability Program, or CRAP. At its core, CRAP is a locally led initiative that combines infrastructure improvements, citizen science, and transparent governance to ensure safe water and long-term sustainability. First, community water monitoring. Residents are trained to test their own water using low-cost kits, and the results are shared on open dashboards. This empowers the community, builds scientific literacy, and helps detect problems early, long before a crisis occurs. Second, green infrastructure. Tools like constructed wetlands, bioswales, and permeable surfaces naturally filter runoff and reduce stormwater pollution, protecting waterways while creating local jobs and green spaces. Third, transparent governance. Open water reports, citizen oversight committees, and equitable representation in decision-making ensure that all residents, especially those historically neglected, have a voice in how their water is managed. And finally, funding partnerships. By combining federal and state grants, nonprofit collaborations, and university support for testing and data analysis, CRAP is both feasible and sustainable. In short, CRAP doesn't just treat water as a technical issue, it treats safe water as a shared responsibility, building trust, reducing long-term costs, and supporting UN Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water and sanitation for all. With CRAP, communities can prevent crises, empower residents, and create a resilient, sustainable water system that benefits both people and the environment.
And CRAP isn't just a theoretical idea. There's evidence it works. For example, the Flint Community Lab in Michigan trains residents to test their own water, providing transparent data and empowering advocacy. In Philadelphia, the Green City Clean Waters program uses green infrastructure to reduce stormwater runoff and combine sewer overflows, improving both water quality and urban green space. And the economic benefit is real. Studies show that every dollar spent on drinking water infrastructure can yield up to $4 in public health and productivity benefits. So, clean, safe water is not just an environmental goal, it's a foundation for social justice, economic stability, and long term resilience.
By empowering communities to take part in monitoring, decision-making, and infrastructure renewal, we can prevent the next Flint and build a truly sustainable, equitable communities. Thank you.
Thank you.